Welcome to another Harry Potter review. I'm John Barry, and today I'm reviewing probably the most hated Harry Potter material out there, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And this video is unscripted, and I hope to make it short and brief because I believe I should write an entire video on how I would fix the Cursed Child. There's some good parts, don't get me wrong. The opening is probably the best part of the book, only because I feel like it's the most truthful. The only looking back at the opening specifically, most of it is pretty good. Ron's character does seem a bit off in scene 2, but in scene 1 is probably probably one of the best scenes. Scene 2 in Act 1, Ron is it's pretty good, except for Ron just feels somewhat off. Scene 3 again is a pretty good scene. 4 again pretty good as well. Yeah. Scene 5 is when I really think it starts going downhill. And my big problem actually isn't the time turner. It's just like things really start feeling like, especially with the older characters, their characters start getting more and more off from scene 5 onward in small ways, really, very small ways. The first 4 scenes, the only is really Ron, but well, he was always kind of a bit more goofy as a trio, let's be honest. And let's just say, I don't know what. And that could be explained that he developed a sense of humor in memory of his brother who died in the Battle of Hogwarts. There, I solved that problem, but still, I feel like he is a bit off. He is probably the most off character in the entire book, I would say. Yeah. Harry is off in some scenes. Ginny feels off, but not as bad as Harry feels off. Hermione feels off as well. Most of the main characters, or I should say the main characters who are older, the older cast, the original trio, they are the ones who you notice some offness here and there. Draco actually seems pretty okay. I didn't mind his characterization at all. And really the time turner in here is a MacGuffin. It's really just to facilitate the plot. And the plot is not the same as the Harry Potter stories. The other stories, they were action-adventure mysteries. This is an action-adventure time travel story. Very different. Personally, I think what they should have done is the main plot should have been Harry and his son, their relationship, and how he and Albus just there was something off with the relationship. Like not necessarily problematic, but what I'm trying to get, I feel like they should have written as kind of kind of show them beginning maybe Albus is a bit more nervous than his siblings, and throughout the book have him get more and more estranged from his father till it comes to a turning point, which they did have that in here, but I feel like they did a poor job in doing it in a way. That should have been the focus, Harry learning to be a father to his son, who feels I don't know what word I'm looking for, but Albus essentially is ashamed to be Harry Potter's son. He's living in Harry's shadow, and that's a weight on him that he does not want, and that, I think, should be the root cause. And the time travel just messes things up a whole lot. Though there were some good things about the time travel, it just confirms, I think, some things about what should be, and dispenses with some of these theories that are just totally ridiculous. But the book could have done with or without the time travel if they have done it better. And there's a way they could have done it. One, have only one time turner. Because I don't object to the fact that there being a time turn because I have I made a copy of the one page just so I could reference it when I actually started talking about the cursed child. I can't find it, but maybe it's over here. Here. Yeah, I'm talking to you like it's live. Oh man, this is an interesting review, but to put it simply, the time turners were damaged and stuck in a time loop in the Order of the Phoenix, and then at the beginning, or not at the beginning, but near the beginning of the Half-Blood Prince, it's confirmed that they were destroyed, but it specifically states that they were Ministry of Magic time turners. And I think that's kind of key. That allows the possibility of there being a illegal time turner out there. Which, that I don't mind, it's more how they introduce the time turner and in a way how they acted like it. Oh, it was no big deal. McGonagall, I do want to say, was pretty much in character, I would say, in her appearances. But there's other ways they could have improved it. The idea of an illegal time turner, yes, but maybe the mystery should be there's this magical artifact out there. Rumors are that it's a time turner. That would have made a more better story. It's really, there's a lot wrong with this book, this play. There's so many ways they could have improved it, and I just wish they had. Yeah. I was just double checking a photo I had in Half-Blood Prince says I specified that they were ministry time turners. And this book actually kind of reiterates that, but I do kind of like the idea of an illegal time turner being out there, only because I like the idea of there having to be a search for it, but that's not what they did here at all. There's so many ways they could have improved on this. First of all, scrap a lot of it and have the book have two storylines. The relationship between Harry and Albus, their estranged relationship, it getting more estranged through Albus's use in Hogwarts. And definitely keep Albus in Slytherin. I do like that. Kind of throws a wrench in everything and furthers it, maybe causes him to be estranged from his father. And then comes the turning point where turning point, like in the book, an argument, but don't have Harry say that he wished Albus was his son. Say that he wished that Albus was more like either of Albus's siblings. Could say just like James or Lily, either of those. Just say that, or say like your siblings. That would have been, I think, even would have it would have, I think, made Harry seem not as harsh, and kind of shows how estranged they come much better. Because when parents really start comparing their children to their other children, I think there's a slight problem, especially when in terms of wishing one child was more like the other child. I think that would have been maybe even more impactful, but would have been a bit more like Harry. And I do like, the conversations that Harry had with Dumbledore's portrait, and I think that kind of thing going on, it was actually not a bad thing to have. As I also did like someone in the Cursed Child, it did say that Harry felt like he had no good father figure. In a way, he didn't. His aunt and uncle mistreated him. Sure, Hagrid, Dumbledore, and Sirius were all father figures and Lupin were all father figures of a sort to Harry, but those were all to Harry later in life. Like the fact that his other children apparently don't have any problems is kind of amusing. Seems like James, they just gave him kind of, let's just combine James and Sirius's personality since he's named after them. And really, Lily, Luna, Potter, they don't give for much time at all. But I do like some of the parallels they got in here. Rose, I think they did a good job with that character. kind of that, and Scorpius. Really, the Albus, Rose, and Scorpius. I feel like those characters were all pretty well, and really no complaints. Some of the other characters I can understand why they didn't focus on. But like, there's a lot going here. Like, come on, like the time travel thing really is the worst, because that's not how time turners work in Harry Potter. They are essentially, when you go back in time, you can only do what's already been done. You can't change what's happened. Everything you do, you've already done. But as shown in Prisoner of Azkaban, you're not always aware of that initially, but that's how it all works out. But they could have improved the time travel by not having it. Oh, another thing, Delphi. Don't make her the daughter of Voldemort. That's just terrible. Rather, let her think she's the daughter of Voldemort, but she's not really. That I would have preferred much more. A character, don't have Harry skull hurting, but but really, Harry should still be able to, I think, understand parts of Parseltongue. I do understand that, because he's heard it, he's spoken it, and as shown with Dumbledore learned to understand Parseltongue, so Harry should have been able to remember how to understand it, especially if he paid attention, but this is Harry we're talking about. I don't think he would have remembered, so the Parseltongue thing, just so that I have no situation in art. I guess I was going to talk about how I will fix the cursed child in a future video, and I think I might do a more organized video. This is just kind of a whole big discussion of, so I thought I'd better clarify that. But there's a lot they could have done in here. The character Delphi, okay, a character who thinks she's the daughter of Voldemort, been raised by Death Eaters to think that. Okay, that actually does sound pretty interesting and mysterious. And the plot should have been, is she? That should have been the mystery, so don't call it, some way to allude at it in the title. Maybe Cursed Child, yes. But I feel like they could have done this so much better. Oh, and again, take the time travel elements out. There should be some kind of magical MacGuffin. It could be an illegal time turner. That actually hasn't been used yet, of course. But an illegal time turner out there that this character, this stealthy character, wants to find and use to make sure the person she thinks she is her father prevent Voldemort from dying. Now that would have been an interesting storyline. You have to rush to stop this character who's been misled into thinking that she's the daughter of Voldemort. Stop her from changing time. That would have been an interesting story. And then maybe make her a bit younger, make her Albus and Scorpios and Rose's age, have that, and that way she can kind of plug in with them, and become friends with them that way, and tries to convince them. And the thing is, who has the illegal time turner is mysterious, just that it's known that there's an illegal one out there, and Harry's leading a investigation to find it and confiscate it so they can destroy it. So that, just ignore have only one illegal time turner. They can have still the same character that Theodore not, have him be arrested, and because they saw he was involved in it. Maybe he was and he gave them a lead for it, but that I think actually would have made a much better story. And have essentially be, maybe it was just a total rumor and it never really existed, or have it existed but be caught and destroyed. Either of those would have made a much better thing. Still involve the time turner, but make it not the word I'm looking for is, don't make it a key plot element. Okay, make it a MacGuffin, but don't make it a key plot element, just something to move the plot along. That's all it should have been. Should have had no effect on the actual plot. So, I think in a future video I will explain my thoughts better, but just simply put, this book, while it's a good story in that, it's a terrible Harry Potter book. It's so bad I'm not even going to bother giving it a rating, because I don't know, should I rate it as a book, as a screenplay, or should I rate it as a Harry Potter book? Just simply put, as a book, I would say 3 or 3.5 stars. Either one of those. It's a good book, but as a Harry Potter book, -10 stars, please. Okay, I use a 0 to 5 scale, so at most I could actually give, or at least I can give it a 0. But to put it simply, this is a terrible Harry Potter book, but a good book. It's like some of the film adaptations are good films, but bad adaptations, it's an kind of a weird dichotomy, very polar, two poles in a way. On one hand, it's a good story, good that, but when you take in the fact that it's marked as a Harry Potter book, Harry Potter story, it just breaks down, becomes terrible. And that, I think, is the biggest problem with this book. It is not Harry Potter. It's not in the vein of the other Harry Potter books. If I was just given a book that was, take the Harry Potter out of the title and just said, The Cursed Child, I probably wouldn't have picked it up then, but okay, maybe it was by still J.K. Rowling was involved, but it wasn't marked as a Harry Potter book. Okay, he's a cursed child. Interesting. So who's the cursed child? Scorpius? Albus? Delphi? And that would have been the mystery, in a way. That should have been the bigger mystery, but they just totally ignored it in here. Or is it Harry the cursed child? But to put it simply, this book is not a Harry Potter book. It is not a Harry Potter story. As a Harry Potter story, it's terrible. As a story, it's good. I know I said this before, but I do want to reiterate. If it was just called The Cursed Child, it would have been much better. It would have been better because it would have been a non-Harry Potter story than if it was just called The Cursed Child. Or rename all the characters so there's really, don't call Voldemort in here. Just call him the Dark Lord. Just skip that. Still that illusion and all that. Don't call Harry in here. Don't call any of the characters who they are because they're not who they are claiming to be. It almost makes me think that if this was written in universe, that Rita Skeeter wrote it. So there's that, and I feel like that's almost this is the type of story Rita Skeeter would tell about Harry Potter, if that makes sense. I know there's a series that, it's a dumb series to be honest, but that J.K. Rowling's Rita Skeeter, I don't put any stock into that. But to put it simply, if that series was true, then this book would have been the story would have been written in the future, written about the future. That could be why it's so bad, but I don't hold any stock in that theory. But simply put, if this was an in-universe story for Harry Potter, I would have said it was written by Rita Skeeter, because it makes Harry look bad, but the thing is, you have a happy ending where everyone's practically forgiven, so I don't think Rita Skeeter would actually do that. So I've kind of ranted pretty long in this book, and I just want to say, if you want to see how bad it is for yourself, or how good of a story it is, but how bad of a Harry Potter story it is, read it for yourself, I guess. Or don't read it, I don't care. I can't honestly recommend this book. If you want to digest everything Harry Potter, or you want to understand why people don't like The Cursed Child, I encourage you to go and read it then. Only if you want to digest everything Harry Potter related, regardless of how bad it may or may not be, or bad in this case in my opinion. Or if you want to see for yourself why everyone thinks it's so bad and so terrible, which is why I picked it up. As a Harry Potter story, I can't recommend it if you just read the books and watched the movies and really haven't dived into the lore, or if you're not a Potterhead, I think is the term, a Harry Potter fan. If you're not big on Harry Potter, I would say don't bother checking this out. I understand this as a stage play, it's supposed to be very good, and story-wise, it's good when you forget that it's Harry Potter. But it being Harry Potter, it's just a bad Harry Potter story. I wouldn't even consider Harry Potter, really. The characters are off in certain ways. Only some characters who appeared in the original books feel like themselves. I feel like McGonagall is pretty well herself. There's a few scenes like, I don't think that's quite right, but I would say for the most part she seems herself. Draco, I think, is the only character that I don't think I have of the original of characters from the original book that I really don't think I have any complaints about at all. He seemed pretty good. He showed that he really does care about his son. Um, really does show that he has turned over a new leaf. I do like that him and Harry still don't get along. Kinda wish they had a better professional relationship, but overall, I think he's the best treated character who was in the original books. And as for the newly introduced characters, I think most of them are pretty good. And I did like the fact that Albus Severus Potter was sorted into Slytherin. I think that is actually a very good decision. It's probably the best one in the book, in the story, and that should have been the end of the story right there. Just you read it, okay, everyone seems unfair, but maybe it's just one of those days for him. But yeah, he does seem off in all the books. Oh, now the books in this entire story, just slightly off. So I feel like they could have improved that much better, his character throughout. But there's so many ways they could have improved it. Everyone has, I think, a different opinion on how to improve it. Something, oh, let's just rewrite it and everything. Others will be like, let's just burn it. So take your pick on what. I think there are ways to improve it, and by improving it, I mean a total rewrite where you probably wouldn't even recognize it, and that video will be coming out someday. What day will be coming out? It'll be a Wednesday, that's all I know at this point. I give it a couple of weeks, but it will be coming out. And I guarantee you, it'll be my opinion on how the story should have been. How to improve it. And who knows, but yeah, I'm just rambling a lot in this video, my thoughts on it, how they could have improved it. I will reorganize them, I promise. But this is just kind of initial, just finished reading it yesterday kind of review off the cuff, because this has to be off the cuff. Scripted would not, I guess, do it justice, or injustice in this case, I'm guessing. But regardless, only read this book if you want to see why it's bad for yourself. That's practically the only reason why I would recommend it. If you've never read Harry Potter, don't read it. If you've never watched Harry Potter, don't read it. If you like stage plays, go and see it then, I guess, but I don't know how well I can recommend the stage play since I've never seen it. But let's just leave it as this. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is a terrible Harry Potter story. It does not fit into either the films or the books. The film's slightly better, but not very better than, not very. But it just does not fit in, it breaks canon. 2 illegal time turners is way too much. Time turners should not have been a key plot element. At best, they should have been a MacGuffin. So, thank you for watching this off-the-cuff review. If you found yourself, I guess, enjoying it, it's hard to say did you enjoy it when you're reviewing a not good book. So instead of did you enjoy this book, did you enjoy my review and leave a like. If you agreed with my review, leave a like. That might be more accurate in this case. So also thank you for watching, I should be saying. Subscribe to my channel for future content. Got more Harry Potter content coming out, along with some other content from Star Wars as well. I did miss my upload for Star Wars Talk yesterday. I was actually going to do a combined Harry Potter Talk, Star Wars Talk episode. Those videos are going to be pushed back a week because I missed yesterday's. So that's all I have to say to you. Besides, do consider following me on social media. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one.